Corporate governance is the policy and the system of governance that a bank uses to manage itself. It includes the board of directors, it includes the policies and procedures, it includes the risk and the way that they work together to form a strong bank. A board member should understand that their responsibility is to the bank and to the shareholders of the bank. Their job is to make a credible challenge against senior executives, but to make sure that they are prepared for their meetings, that they participate in the meetings, and that they provide that credible challenge, which would challenge what the senior management is doing with the bank overall. A credible challenge is a critical piece of a board of directors' challenge against the senior executives. The senior executives of the bank are going to produce a plan, and the board needs to challenge that and make sure that it's for the benefit of the bank overall and for its shareholders. Independence is important for a board of directors because they have to make decisions that are independent from the senior executives. It's also crucial from a regulator's perspective that they know that the board of directors is independent from the senior executives, so you don't have insiders. Some of the signs of an independent board are that they can make decisions that are truly independent from the senior executives and their execution plan. Also, some of the other signs that we look for are diversity in the backgrounds and skills and industry from our board of directors. As a board of director, you have the opportunity to meet an executive session, and that's where we excuse the senior executives or other non-board members so that we can discuss usually sensitive topics that may be about the performance of either a non-board member or a senior executive. A best practice that we would suggest is to go ahead and include an executive session in the agenda meeting. That way there's not awkwardness when you have to ask the senior executive to leave the session so that you may be able to discuss something outside of them. Boards should routinely evaluate themselves through self-assessments. Those self-assessments allow for identification of gaps that may exist or opportunities for improvement to diversify a board either based on skill or background or trade. The other thing that a board can do to help assist themselves is to bring in outside auditors, outside counsel, outside experts that may be able to fill in some of those gaps. Dominant personalities in a boardroom can be both good and it could also hamper you. So you have a dominant person, it could be the chair, it could be a committee lead, it could be someone else on the board. We want them to be effective, but we also want to make sure that everyone else has a voice. One of the ways to work through that process is to set up strong rules and processes at the very beginning so that it allows everyone and the board to have a voice. One of the other ways is to utilize executive sessions so that you have an opportunity to speak outside of senior management. And finally, the last thing that we would do is to make sure that you have a recordation of minutes so that you can go back and check and see, is there someone who's dominating the boardroom? Board members should approach important decisions realizing that all of the decisions impact the board themselves, but some of them are more important than others. Board decisions should be approached, does it align strategically with the plan of the overall bank itself? Most boards like to have consensus, but there's nothing wrong with having divergent of opinions and making sure that everyone has an opportunity to speak, especially on critical decisions to the bank.